I wanted to talk about how racial identity in healthcare kind of plays out. And so I grew up on the south side of Chicago, and one of the first, I guess, major institutions that I really had a lot of experience with outside of school was actually the healthcare system. When I learned about my birthing story, I grew up in a family with a young mother. She had me at 17 years old. Chicago is very racially segregated. And the South Side was predominantly black people. And so I grew up in the hospital due to my disability. I was always in the hospital from the time I was born to the time I was 16. And I felt like growing up, one of the procedures that I had to get done was something called serial casting, where every 2 weeks they would put a cast on my legs, on both my legs, from my knees to my feet. And the process of that was painful. In order to get a cast off, you have to use a drill. The drill is loud, and when I think about drills, I'm thinking you about to cut wood or some trees or something that you got to cut in half. So every time I heard this drill, I thought they was going to cut my legs off. And it was a painful process because in the casting process, your legs is plastered, and so they're using this drill to cut you. And I always felt like I was getting burned. Or cut, one of the two. And it was very uncomfortable for me, and it was very traumatizing. And so during the process, I think I was like maybe 3 to 7, or actually 12. My mother decided to switch doctors because she didn't think that the procedures that they were doing were helping. And I remember me saying, like, this is painful, it hurts, I don't want to do it. Why do I have to do it? And I think my mother got fed up and decided that we were going to go to a different doctor. And that doctor was actually located on the opposite side of town. It was on the north side of the city. And everybody knows in this city that if you're on the north side, it's usually a better quality of stuff. And so for me, it was like a better quality of healthcare. And I knew walking in the door, I saw logos everywhere. I saw them on the news, I saw them on TV, and I saw them in the newspaper. I'm like, okay, this is probably going to be a good deal. And so they ended up serial casting me as well. But the difference was they gave me choices. They showed me how stuff worked. If I was uncomfortable, they created extra padding. I remember my first casting series. At the old hospital, they would just put a sock on, put some plaster on, and put the color of the cast on. At this hospital, they put the sock on, it was really thick, then they padded it with cotton, and then they padded it with another level of stuff, and then they made sure that if it was ventilated, and it was a whole process that I was included in, and I didn't feel as traumatized. So that experience showed me the difference between my doctor in my hospital on the south side versus the doctor on the north side. And I think that played a lot into the quality of care just as race, because at that hospital there were more white people, there were more rich people, and a lot of people donated to this hospital, but a lot of families were families of color. And so my experience there showed me that in this space I could be believed. In this space I have choices. In this space they care about my health care. Versus in the old hospital, it's just like whatever we doing to you is what we doing and we don't care how you feel. It shapes my life now because I want to make sure that myself or other people are getting the proper care and be treated equally and whole as much as possible. When I pick my medical care, I'm looking at what area it's in, who they serve the most. Unfortunately now, unfortunately in our society, if something is heavily people of color, it's considered low value. And that's how it plays out in the medical field. And so there are certain hospitals I just won't go to because I feel like I won't get that adequate health care, or I won't get cared for, or someone is going to treat me like I don't matter, or that they could just Google something and be like, oh, that's what's wrong with you, without really actually looking at you, or prescribing you a pill to heal you without even figuring out how it impacts you, or if your body even adjusts to it. And so today I look for ratings. I look for where hospitals are located. I look for who they serve. I look for how it's funded. And I think without the experience that I had as a younger person, dealing with racial identity, that I probably wouldn't even take that into consideration. And it's a shame that you even have to think about it. Not thinking that you can get adequate care everywhere. And that's whether it's a clinic, a hospital, a specialist. The clinic that I started my healthcare in, they seem to have a constant rotation of doctors. Like the doctors never stayed. And it was right down the street from my house in Inglewood, on the south side of Chicago. And so as an adult, I'm like, okay, I'm not going there. They clearly don't care. It must be something wrong where the doctors keeps changing. And you're just not able to build a stable relationship that way. So I think that plays out a lot with racial identity and where things are placed, or what they call redlining of services and different things like that.